When the game merges with reality, I unexpectedly transformed into the god of wealth. Each day, I could receive 1 billion gold coins. And simply by spending gold coins, I could gain attribute boosts. All because I invested 20 billion when the game server opened. Those around me called me a foolish idiot. But they didn't know. 3 days later, everyone would be forced to join the apocalyptic game. Monsters from the game would invade the real world. The entire world would plunge into chaos. In my previous life during the struggle for the Supreme God's throne, to protect Liu Ryan, I alone faced 3 peak powerhouses, only to be betrayed by her with a single stab. I could only close my eyes in resentment. When I awoke again, I found myself transmigrated back to the moment the game began. At that moment, a voice echoed in my ear. Welcome to the apocalyptic game. Please choose your starting profession. In my previous life, Zhang Han chose the knight profession, simply because he thought being a knight, protecting Liu Ryan by her side, was a romantic notion. Thinking of this, Zhang Han fiercely slapped himself. Indeed, being a lovesick fool only led to death. Then he cursed a few times and chose the beast tamer profession. The beast tamer in the entire apocalyptic game was recognized as the profession with the highest threshold. Once a top guild in the HUA kingdom offended a god-tier beast tamer. As a result, that tamer led a god-tier pet, the Dark Dragon, and crushed that top guild until it disbanded. The guild leader killed too many times, had his attributes reduced to 0, and in reality went straight to meet his ancestors. However, the cost of raising pets for this profession was truly immense. Ordinary players simply couldn't afford it. Take the Dark Dragon, a god-tier pet. The resources required to sustain it were beyond the imagination of ordinary people. But for Zhang Han, these issues were not within his consideration. Ding profession selection complete. In-game alias set as Yi. Afterward, Zhang Han took all 22 billion from selling his shares and poured it all into the game. Such a massive sum invested in a game. If others knew, they'd surely curse him as a fool. But Zhang Han was well aware. The recharge system was only open for 10 minutes. 3 days later, when the game reflected into reality, the value of gold coins would skyrocket at a 110 ratio. The gold coins in his hands would be worth 220 billion in cash. Such growth, even Bitcoin would have to bow before Zhang Han. At that moment, a pleasant mechanical voice sounded. Due to being the first player to recharge, and with an amount exceeding 10 billion, you have unlocked the unique hidden profession. Current profession, God of Wealth, Beast Tamer. Zhang Han was momentarily stunned, then immediately overjoyed. In the apocalypse, there existed certain special professions, only unlockable by meeting specific conditions, known as hidden professions. Zhang Han immediately checked the attributes of his second profession, God of Wealth profession talent panel. Endless resources. The number of gold coins you carry increases your God of Wealth strength by 1 per day. For every 1,000,000 gold coins spent, you randomly gain 1 attribute point. Each day you gain 100 points of penny pincher. After death, gold coins and items on you will not drop. Heavenly fortune. Luck increased by 50, charm increased by 50. After reading the panel, Zhang Han was dumbfounded. Any one of these innate talents was absolutely a he-avifying existence. With his current wealth of 22 billion, he could gain 22 million in profit daily, combined with the God of Wealth strength. Even if he threw money around for fun, he could gain 20 attribute points daily for free. Zhang Han couldn't help but sigh. In his previous life, he also spent a fair amount, a total of 100,000 gold coins, which gave him a huge advantage in the early stages. At that moment, a phone ring sounded. Zhang Han exited the holographic projection and looked. It was Liu Ryan, the one who killed him in his previous life. As soon as he picked up the phone, a torrent of scolding poured in. Zhang Han, are you insane? Selling company shares to recharge a game? What are you trying to do? Hearing that familiar voice, Zhang Han's face darkened terrifyingly. He desperately wanted to tear her to pieces, but there were more pressing matters at hand, so he could only hold back for now. My money, I'll do what I want with it. Who are you to point fingers? All these years, if I hadn't supported you, you'd probably still be begging in some alley. With that, he blocked Liu Ryan's number and returned to the game. After calming down, Zhang Han opened his basic attribute panel. Name Yi Han. Profession Unique God of Wealth Beast Tamer Level 1. Health 100, Mana 140, Attributes 10. Luck 50, Charm 50. Talents Endless Resources Penny Pincher. Heavenly Fortune God of Wealth Strength. Zhang Han sighed helplessly. The Beast Tamer was indeed a high-threshold profession, with equally high limitations. Other professions had combat methods, but the Beast Tamer, oh splendid. You start with just a pair of newbie underwear. To tame a beast, you either go out to capture one, or buy one from the shop. Truly not an ordinary hardship. After entering the game, Zhang Han walked through the streets. He didn't choose to buy a pet. He knew a way to obtain a god-tier pet egg. Soon, he arrived before a magnificent golden palace, the Supreme Hall, a formidable force in the apocalyptic game. After reaching level 100, you could unlock the final class advancement and receive a recommendation letter from the Supreme Hall, granting the qualification to hire powerful NPCs. But Zhang Han knew, in the early stages of the game, there was a way to hire NPCs from the Supreme Hall. At that moment, an old man with white hair dressed in a blue robe approached with a cold demeanor. Young man, this isn't a place you should be. Go back and train. Only when you obtain the recommendation letter from Lord Babatu will the gates of the Supreme Hall open for you. Zhang Han didn't say much. With a wave of his hand, countless glittering gold coins fell, like a radiant golden waterfall. Seeing this, the cold old man's expression changed instantly. He smiled brightly and led Zhang Han inside. Looking at the excited old man, Zhang Han sighed inwardly. The Supreme Hall, normally accessible only at level 100, could now be entered with money, though the cost was exorbitant. Just the entry qualification cost 5 million gold coins. Zhang Han stepped into the grand hall. The heavy stone doors rumbled open. A middle-aged man in golden armor approached. Young man, what are you here for? Hello, I'd like to hire a guard. The middle-aged berserker warrior looked deeply at Zhang Han, then waved his hand. A virtual panel appeared before Zhang Han. Glorious Marionette level 100. 1 million gold coins per day. Supreme Marionette level 80. 800,000 gold coins per day. Zhang Han frowned. No god-tier marionettes. The berserker warrior was stunned, then laughed loudly saying, God-tier marionettes are incredibly valuable. How could they be hired out? 1 billion per day. Can you afford that? The berserker warrior hesitated. Normally, it's not allowed, but I have a friend, a god-tier sorcerer. I can ask for you. Zhang Han's eyes lit up. Sorcerer, a hidden profession, with powerful functions, excelling in both defense and offense. At his current stage, it was undoubtedly the top choice. Half an hour later, a deep resonant voice sounded. Zhang Han looked up. An old man in a sorcerer's robe had appeared before him without notice. You are Yi Han, indeed a talent. The old man said calmly, I am Mars. From now on for the next 24 hours, I will follow your orders. But I won't do anything unjust or immoral. Zhang Han smiled. Rest assured, senior. It's mainly to clear a high-difficulty hidden dungeon. Mars nodded, not paying much mind. Zhang Han didn't delay, leading Mars out of the Supreme Hall. The Huayu Plain was the only leveling spot for the newbie village. But at this moment, there weren't many players around. Monsters in the apocalypse were unusually strong. Even a level 1 slime could easily send an unequipped player to their grave. Since the closed beta began 2 hours ago, countless players had died here. Those who survived were either experts or had casually recharged some money at the server's opening, buying a few starting gear pieces as wealthy players. From the server's opening until now, no one had reached level 2. As Zhang Han and Mars were on their way, 2 players shouted and ran toward them, followed by a level 5 goblin chasing them. Mars, with a calm expression, lightly waved his hand. A faint golden lightning bolt shot out 1,350,089. The goblin instantly displayed a terrifying damage number and turned to dust. Seeing this, the two players let out a string of curses. How does it hit a phone number's worth of damage? Before they could recover from the shock, Zhang Han had already led Mars far away. Half an hour later, deep in the Huayu Plain, notifications of astonishment kept popping up before Zhang Han. Wherever Mars passed, no grass remained. A casual strike dealt millions in damage. The once peaceful canyon was now in ruins. Nothing within sight survived. The Goblin Village, the only monster force in the newbie village, was completely slaughtered. Congratulations, you have successfully reached level 5. You have gained 10 free attribute points. Zhang Han sighed. With money, you could truly do whatever you wanted. At this point, other players might not even have reached level 2. That said, it wasn't without flaws. After leveling up, a new line appeared on Zhang Han's attribute panel. Permanent Experience Reduction 6. In the apocalyptic game, whether player or NPC, when teaming up with a level gap exceeding 10, the lower level party would face an experience penalty. Moreover, this penalty was permanent, increasing by 1 per level up. But Zhang Han didn't care. His main goal now was to quickly reach level 10 and enter the main city. The experience penalty, though daunting, was negligible if he could enter the main city first. Next, Zhang Han opened his attribute panel and began distributing his free attribute points. The 40 free attribute points from leveling, he dumped entirely into spirit. And today, having spent over 1 billion, the God of Wealth Strength granted him 100 attribute points, making Zhang Han's other attributes exceptionally high. His level 5 attribute panel was something other players, even at level 10, would struggle to achieve. Great, just a few more levels, and I can unlock the hidden dungeon. Zhang Han smiled satisfied. In his previous life on the forums, there was always a highly secretive rumor. The newbie village held a hidden dungeon, the Dragon's Lair. Besides its secret location, the conditions to unlock it weren't too hard, only requiring a spirit value over 100. But back then, when this dungeon was discovered, most players were already level 100. 100 spirit points wasn't difficult, but at the current stage, achieving it was only possible by reaching level 10 and dumping all free attribute points into spirit. But no sane person would do that. 3 hours later, under Mars' relentless bombardment, the deep areas of the Huayu Plain fell completely silent. A pleasant system notification sounded in Zhang Han's ear. Ding, you have reached level 10. I have become the first player worldwide to reach level 10. Reward 60 attribute points. Reward title 1,000 miles in a day. Immediately after, a global announcement appeared before all players. Ding Hu, a kingdom player Yi Han, has reached level 10. The level leaderboard is now open. At that moment, all players froze in their actions, eyes filled with astonishment. Since the apocalyptic game began, only 6 hours had passed. A few experienced game experts, through team cooperation, were generally at level 1 or 2. Even top-tier players, with superior skills maxed out at level 3. Now a terrifying level 10 existence appeared out of nowhere. The proud game experts were all dumbfounded. In the Hua Kingdom's newbie village number 1001, a figure in coarse cloth stood atop a pile of goblin corpses. Looking at the name Yi Han on the level leaderboard, slightly stunned. I've been hunting elite monsters since entering the game, and am only level 3 now. Yet someone directly hit level 10. Is there a bug in the game? This Yi Han never heard of him, but since he's from the Hua Kingdom, it's fine. Then he closed the leaderboard and focused on leveling again. In the Bong Kingdom, a sneaky-looking warrior stared at the leaderboard, gritting his teeth so hard they nearly broke. Asiba, how could the Hua Kingdom have someone reach level 10 so fast? It's definitely cheating. Even if it's not cheating, it's absolutely a player from our great Bong Kingdom who wandered over there. Hua Kingdom, Bong Kingdom, the universe's #1 submitter. Similar scenes played out across nations. Regarding the opening of the level leaderboard, Zhang Han wasn't surprised. In his previous life, someone reaching level 10 also triggered the leaderboard, but that was after the public beta. During the closed beta, the highest level was only level 8. Jong Han equipped the title. Its attributes immediately appeared before him. Unique title 1,000 miles in a day epic quality. As the first player to reach level 10, your strength is recognized by the God of Light. Experience gained increased by 5. Jong Han smiled brightly. In the game, items had quality tiers. From the lowest Black Iron to Saint's End. 10 tiers in total. An epic tier title was undeniably rare. In the apocalyptic game, obtaining equipment was extremely difficult. Even players past level 100 mostly had gear below epic tier. From gold to dark gold, epic was a major threshold. Only a select few were qualified to possess. As for legendary and god tier above, only the absolute top players could even glimpse them. As for Heaven's End and Saint's End, even in his previous life, when Jong Han nearly reached the Supreme God's throne, he never heard of anyone owning such gear. Satisfied, Jong Han allocated his attributes to Spirit. His Spirit value now reached 120. Immediately after, another notification appeared. Did you have completed Phase 1 of Experience Collection? Please proceed to activate the Level Up trial. Jong Han waved his hand, dismissing the notification. The Level Up trial was a unique mechanic of the apocalyptic game. All players upon reaching a multiple of level 10 would be unable to gain further experience. Only by passing the Level Up trial could they continue leveling. Though the trial allowed teaming, no external assistance was permitted. A god tier NPC like Mars absolutely couldn't enter the Level Up trial. 10 minutes later, they arrived at the entrance to a hidden cave. As soon as they stepped inside, a system notification sounded. Did you have entered a hidden area? This area is extremely dangerous. Please leave immediately. Hearing the system's warning, Jong Han smirked. What a powerful aura. How could there be a dragon residing here? Mars paused, stroking his beard, his face full of astonishment. Even for a god-tier sorcerer, seeing a dragon's lair like this, he didn't dare take it lightly. Dragons were incredibly powerful creatures. A fully grown dragon had strength comparable to a god-tier powerhouse. Mars looked at Jong Han, saying gravely, "You paid a hefty price to hire me, just to storm this dragon's lair. Let me be clear, even I am not certain I can defeat a dragon." Jong Han shook his head. "I just want to see if I can steal a dragon egg." Hearing Jong Han's words, Mars nearly spat blood. Dragons were fiercely protective of their bloodline and offspring. Stealing a dragon egg was no different from confronting its mother hidden. Mars' side money isn't easy to earn. Then he spread his hands, channeling his inner power. A series of skills were unleashed, boosting Jong Han's health to a terrifying 5,000. Jong Han looked at Mars with burning eyes. At that moment, he finally understood why sorcerers were said to have versatile methods. This series of buffs alone would make priests blush in shame, and holy knights shed tears. After casting the buffs, their figures began to blur. Like ghosts, they silently slipped into the dragon's lair. But the moment they entered, deep within the cave, a radiant golden dragon snapped its eyes open. Mars' god-tier stealth technique was useless before it. Immediately after, the entire cave began to tremble violently. A dragon's roar echoed to the heavens. Mars panicked. "Kid, you've doomed me. This is a 50-year radiant dragon. Run!" Hearing Mars, Jong Han frowned. Dragons had tears. In his previous life, the dark dragon that destroyed a top guild was only 3rd tier. This 50-year radiant dragon was a peak existence. If he could get his hands on this dragon, its potential would exceed imagination. "Senior, are we really retreating?" Jong Han turned to Mars. "Are you kidding? This is a 50-year mature dragon. The odds of beating it are less than 1 in 10,000. Get out, this isn't a place for you." Mars stared intently at the radiant dragon, not daring to let his guard down. A teleportation scroll already in hand, ready to crush it at any moment. Jong Han gritted his teeth. "It'll double the payment." Mars shook his head. "It's not that I don't want the reward. Facing such an existence would die without a trace." Jong Han said in a low voice. No need to fight hidden. Just buy me some time. Mars hesitated, his face full of regret. I don't know if I can hold it off. Jong Han raised 3 fingers, his face emotionless. If you can't, you have to. Do it! Mars roared. His muscles surged. The frail old man transformed into a hulking warrior in an instant. Jong Han was stunned. Do sorcerers play like this nowadays? Seeing Jong Han's expression, Mars grinned confidently. Without a trump card, how could I roam the world? I may look like a sorcerer, but am also a melee warrior. I can buy you 3 minutes at most. Hurry! Mars roared, leaping high, unleashing the long-lost black crow on a plane technique, charging straight at the radiant dragon. A massive explosion. Dust and smoke filled the air. The 100-meter-long dragon was pinned to the ground by a single blow. Jong Han was stunned. He quickly dashed into the dragon's lair. The terrain here he had studied countless times in his previous life. It was etched in his mind. Mars, watching from the side, saw Jong Han move with the ease of a fish in water and was inwardly shocked. That calm demeanor and seasoned posture were absolutely not those of a newbie. The radiant dragon roared. Its dragon aura spread heavily. The ground instantly shattered. You beast, on a normal day, I'd give you some respect. But for these 3 minutes, even a dragon must kneel. Mars shouted. His fists rained down like a storm, each punch enough to shatter a mountain. Under this frenzied bombardment, even a mighty radiant dragon was beaten into submission. Jong Han sped forward, reaching the deepest part of the lair. A half-metal emerald dragon egg stood at the center of the cave, surrounded by a faint glow. Near the egg was a shimmering object. Jong Han didn't have time to inspect it. He grabbed everything in sight and stored it in his inventory. Thanks to Mars' buying time and his knowledge of the dragon's lair terrain, the entire process took less than 2 minutes. At that moment, Mars was still fighting furiously, pounding away with gusto. Jong Han shouted, "Master, I got it. Let's go!" Mars snapped his head up. A flash of light under his feet. He appeared before Jong Han instantly, placing a hand on his shoulder. The teleportation scroll shattered. Jong Han's vision blurred. When it cleared, they were back in the Supreme Hall. Mars, beside him, was pale as a ghost, drained of color, looking like head overindulged. Jong Han panicked. "Master, are you okay?" Mars trembled, his lips quivering. That was a near-divine existence. If we hadn't escaped quickly, we'd be in its belly by now. Jong Han didn't hesitate, transferring the remaining 2 billion gold coins to Mars. It wasn't in vain that I risked my life. Well done, well done. With 3 billion gold coins in hand, Mars smiled like a blooming flower. Even for a god-tier powerhouse, earning 3 billion gold coins wasn't easy. A day's work for such a haul felt like striking it rich overnight. Even Jong Han seemed much more likable. Ding. Mars' favorability toward you has increased to 60. Jong Han frowned. In the apocalyptic game, NPC favorability capped at 100. A favorability of 60 was already very high, indicating the NPC's deep trust in you. This was also a prerequisite for unlocking NPC transactions. Normally, it required completing a series of quests and various other methods, taking a long time to build. But Jong Han, with a starting charm of 50, plus a generous 3 billion gold coin payment, directly pushed Mars' favorability past 60. High charm was indeed convenient. Jong Han sighed inwardly. The heaven-defying power of the god of wealth was evident from day one. Right, master? Does the Supreme Hall have life essence? The price is negotiable. Mars was shocked. You actually stole a dragon egg. Show it to me. Jong Han hesitated, then took out the dragon egg. Mars' eyes burned. If not for his strange fondness for Jong Han, he might not have resisted snatching it. This is too valuable. Its worth can't be measured in money. I have 5 vials of life essence. 5 million gold coins per vial. How about it? Jong Han's eyes lit up. He knew the value of life essence, only found in high-level boss lairs, with an extremely low drop rate. 5 million for a vial was an absolute steal, even a massive bargain. Mars' demeanor suddenly shifted. But for a fifth-tier dragon's offspring, 5 vials of life essence might be a bit lacking. However, I have 1 vial of holy life essence. Its effect is no less than 5 vials of life essence. Zhang Han remained calm. What's the condition? Speak plainly, master. Mars smiled brightly. Talking to a smart person is refreshing. 1 price 25 million. Plus after your dragon egg hatches, I need 1 drop of its blood essence. Any issues? Zhang Han agreed readily, without any intent to haggle, because he knew the value involved. After completing the transaction, Mars looked deeply at Zhang Han. Don't forget our deal. I'll find you when the time comes. A teleportation array glowed brightly under his feet, and he vanished. Looking at the vials of life essence in his inventory, Zhang Han was overjoyed. At that moment, the grand hall was empty. He found a secluded corner and tossed the dragon egg into the hatching space. Hatching time remaining 299 years. Seeing the hatching time, Zhang Han was stunned. If he waited for it to hatch naturally, the grass on his grave would have changed generations. Then he took out the life essence and holy life essence, pouring them all onto the dragon egg. A faint green light flashed. Ding successfully hatched got your pet heavenly dragon. Unlocked beast tamer skill pet aura. The next second, a translucent blue dragon broke free from the egg. But Zhang Han was puzzled. Why is it a heavenly dragon? Shouldn't it be the offspring of the radiant dragon? Could that 50-year dragon have been cuckolded? Immediately after Zhang Han opened the dragon's attribute panel, heavenly dragon mythical quality health 10,000, mana 15,000, attributes 500, talents, absolute suppression. The heavenly dragon, against creatures below mythical tier, deals 30 increased damage, receives 30 reduced damage. King of dragons, deals 50 increased damage to dragon-type creatures, receives 50 reduced damage from dragons. Divine bloodline, when leveling up, the heavenly dragon gains increase all attributes. Health and mana recovery 200 points per second. Health and mana increased by 100. Skills, Dragon's Majesty. The heavenly dragon unleashes a heaven-shaking roar. Within a 20-meter range, all creatures are forced into a stunned state for 15 seconds. Breath of the Dragon King. The heavenly dragon deals 500 strength-based damage. True damage unavoidable. Wrath of the Dragon King. The heavenly dragon deals 10,000 strength vitality damage. True damage indiscriminate. Within a 50-meter range. Cooldown 30 days. After using this skill, attributes permanently reduced by 5. Heavenly dragon falls into a 5-day slumber. Good heavens! After reading the heavenly dragon's attributes, Zhang Han exclaimed, at just level 1, the heavenly dragon couldn't be described as merely terrifying. With 500 strength points, it could kill anyone instantly. At the current stage, even if every player in the apocalypse teamed up, they wouldn't be enough for this little one to fight. Archers or mages attacking from afar, with 500 agility for attack speed and evasion. Basic skills couldn't even touch its scales. The only way would be to exhaust it to death. Zhang Han was overjoyed, looking at the half-metal blue dragon before him. You're so blue, I'll call you Little Gray from now on. Then his gaze shifted to the shimmering item. With one look, Zhang Han gasped. It's a Heavens End item. Chapter of Brutality. Heavens End quality base attributes 10. Increases all attributes. Brutal strength. Unique passive possessing the chapter of Brutality. All skills can trigger critical hits. Base critical hit rate increased by 20. Critical hit damage increased by 100. Brutal instant kill. Deals 1000 true spirit damage to the target. 5 chance to trigger instant death. If the target's health is below 20, instant death is guaranteed. Cooldown 10 days. Still reeling from the got your pet. Now with a Heavens End item, Zhang Han was slightly dazed. He took a deep breath and chose to bind it. Ding successfully bound Chapter of Brutality. Activated Hidden Quest Forbidden's Sunbreaker. Even the mighty King of Brutality was destroyed by the Abyss. As the possessor of the Chapter of Brutality, do you wish to seek the truth? Quest objective: find the Fang of Brutality. Zhang Han frowned slightly. Had never heard of the chapter of brutality, but the Fang of Brutality was famous. The weapon of the Gotcher assassin Gutan in the Hua Kingdom, considered one of the highest burst damage weapons. It seemed the chapter of brutality was likely connected to the Fang of Brutality. The Fang of Brutality was probably still in the Abyss continent. I'd have to leave the newbie village first. Zhang Han sighed. He needed to complete the level up trial quickly. At that moment, a shrill sound rang out. Ding, player Yi Han. Your playtime today has reached the limit. You will be forcibly logged out. The scenery shifted rapidly. Zhang Han removed his VR headset, rubbing his temples. It was already 10 p.m. Ambulances occasionally wailed past on the streets. Zhang Han stood by the window deep in thought. As expected, just like his previous life, many players had died too many times in the game, and died in reality as well. Zhang Han looked at his phone. The apocalyptic game had topped the search trends. Governments worldwide had stepped in, banning anyone from logging into the game. After the incidents, some tried to investigate the game, but found all leads pointed to governments. Though nations banned logging in, there seemed to be some unspeakable secret, forcing them to cooperate in releasing this game. The next day, Zhang Han logged in as usual. Compared to the previous day's emptiness, newbie village number 9527 was several times busier, mostly due to online news about the game. People wanted to see what was going on. Humans are curious creatures after all. Some government agents were mixed in, but regardless of who they were, all held a bit more awe for the apocalyptic game. After all, a large number of people had died. Even governments couldn't fully suppress the news. As soon as Zhang Han appeared, he caused a stir. Though he hid his name and appearance, the glowing epic title above his head couldn't be concealed. People instantly recognized him as Yi Han, the leaderboard's top player. Hundreds of invitations flooded Zhang Han, giving him a headache. He quickly set his status to reject all invites and headed straight for the city gate. Some players tried to follow secretly to uncover his secrets, but gave up. The area Zhang Han went to had at least level 5 monsters, with elite monsters appearing. After learning the game affected reality, people became more cautious. 10 minutes later, Zhang Han arrived at a massive ruin. He navigated familiarly to his silver-armored guard. Honorable Guardian, I wish to activate the level up trial. The guard looked at Zhang Han slightly surprised. He hadn't expected someone to come here on the second day of the game. Where are your teammates? Zhang Han shook his head. No teammates. I plan to do the trial alone. The guard frowned. In his eyes, this person was either foolish or arrogant, but he said nothing, only giving him a cold glance. Go to the altar and choose the difficulty you wish to challenge. Zhang Han calmly stepped onto the altar. His index finger tapped, directly selecting the highest difficulty, Abyss. Then, under the guard's gaze, as if looking at a fool, he teleported into the trial grounds. In a flash, Zhang Han appeared in a dense forest. He was well aware of the trial's difficulty. In his previous life during the closed beta, he spent 100,000 gold coins. Back then, he had a full set of bronze gear, a setup surpassing 99 of players. He even paid a hefty price to team up with equally skilled players. But because he brought Liu Ryan a burden, the elite team was wiped out in the hard difficulty trial. Thinking of this, Zhang Han slapped himself again. At that moment, a piercing wolf howl interrupted his thoughts. A massive figure appeared before Zhang Han. Brutal Snow Wolf, level 10 demonic creature. Health 5,000, mana 5,000. A demonic creature no less. Looking at the mountain-like wolf, Zhang Han was startled. He hadn't expected to encounter such a terrifying creature in the level up trial. Moreover, once in the trial, there was no way to retreat. The only way was to clear it. Little Gray, go fight, he called out softly. The next second, Little Gray materialized from the air, gliding through, leaving a trail of afterimages, instantly appearing before the brutal Snow Wolf, facing the nearly 5-meter giant wolf. Little Gray's body seemed tiny, but as a mythical heavenly dragon, Little Gray had an innate advantage over the brutal snow wolf. Its dragon aura spread powerfully. The mountain-sized wolf retreated repeatedly. Little Gray opened its mouth. Blazing flames erupted. The wolf's health bar dropped by over half. A brutal strike left it terrified. Little Gray pressed the advantage. Its dragon claws sliced through the air, leaving afterimages. As expected of a level 10 demonic boss, Zhang Han squinted deep in thought. Little Gray's 30 damage boost should deal around 650 damage, but now damage was reduced by 10, indicating the brutal snow wolf had a pick-to-your damage reduction, a basic trait of level 10 demonic bosses. The next second the wolf's eyes glowed red. Its fur stood on end. Zhang Han glanced and saw the boss health had dropped to fast, triggering berserk mode. In this state, all the brutal snow wolf's attributes would surge, and its base health recovery doubled. Little Gray used Dragon's Majesty. Zhang Han ordered immediately. Little Gray roared skyward. The red glow in the wolf's eyes faded. It fell into a stunned state. Little Gray charged forward. 15 seconds was enough for 2 attacks. When the wolf woke up, a third strike landed. Terrifying damage felled the demonic boss from start to finish. The brutal snow wolf didn't even get to use a skill. It wasn't weak. The demonic creature label proved its strength, but the dragon's breath from afar, combined with Dragon's Majesty, was simply too overpowered. Ding successfully defeated demonic boss brutal snow wolf. Your pet has reached level 5. Well done. Zhang Han was amazed. It felt unreal until the system notification sounded. He opened Little Gray's attribute panel. Alias Little Gray. Type Heavenly Dragon level 5. Health 14,000, mana 14,500, attributes 700. Killing a level 10 demonic boss across levels allowed Little Gray to gain 4 levels. Zhang Han couldn't help but marvel. The potential of a mythical pet from birth was truly outrageous. Your pet has reached level 5. Well done. Zhang Han was amazed. It felt unreal until the system notification sounded. He opened Little Gray's attribute panel. At just level 1, all attributes increased by 50 and unlocked a new skill. Dragon's Fang deals 500 spirit-based magic damage to the 2 nearest enemy units and forces enemies into a 5-second silent state. Zhang Han was thrilled. Another insanely powerful skill. He approached the brutal snow wolf's corpse. Besides over 1,000 gold coins, it even dropped to pieces of equipment. Blood Wolf Fang dark gold quality unidentified. Blood Wolf Bow dark gold quality unidentified. As expected of a demonic boss, its whole body was treasure. Zhang Han smiled brightly. Even at level 100 in his previous life, the times he helped kill demonic bosses could be counted on one hand, and he wasn't even the main force. The process was grueling. Careful not to die was one thing. He never got a share of the loot. But now, Little Gray took down the brutal snow wolf in 3 hits, and he claimed all the loot for himself. He tossed the 2 pieces of equipment into his inventory, leading Little Gray deeper. Soon he emerged from the dense forest. Before him appeared a jet black tiger, another demonic boss, with attributes even higher than the brutal snow wolf. But this abyss tiger faced an even more terrifying Little Gray, who killed the snow wolf like it was a chicken. Now at level 5, with a new skill unlocked, the abyss tiger roared. The next second, a dragon's breath and a blue magic orb hit consecutively. The tiger's health bar plummeted, left with a pitiful 300 health. It entered berserk mode. The tiger's spirit doubled, surging to a terrifying 1,000. Zhang Han was shocked. A berserk magic-based boss. The next second, the abyss tiger began chanting, its throat emitting a humming sound. But before it could finish, another blue fireball struck. Its massive body collapsed. Its vitality vanished without a trace. Like the brutal snow wolf, it died under Little Gray's claws without casting a single skill. You have defeated demonic boss Abyss Tiger. Your pet has reached level 6. Zhang Han wasn't surprised by this outcome. He quickly looted the corpse, also to pieces of equipment. but this time gold quality. He was still very satisfied. Gold equipment was rare even outside the newbie village, especially at this stage. These pieces alone could easily sell for millions. One man and one dragon pressed deeper. After the Abyss Tiger, two more bosses appeared, each with stats more terrifying than the last. Among them, the brutal Demon Bull had a staggering 15,000 health. A boss like this could make the entire newbie village despair. But unfortunately, before Little Gray, such a boss posed no threat. Sweeping through, he collected for more pieces of equipment. Little Gray reached level 7. Zhang Han stood in a dark hall, observing his surroundings. At that moment, an aged voice echoed, "Adventurer, you have fallen into the abyss." Immediately after, a series of system notifications rang out. "You have entered an extremely dangerous area. Please leave immediately. Please leave immediately." The system's sharp, piercing warnings. Zhang Han had never heard such intense alerts. Suddenly, two eerie lights flashed. At the far end of the hall, a creature on a throne abruptly opened its eyes. A surging aura swept through like a flood. Wanderer King level 10. Health 50,000, Vitality 5,000, Spirit 5,000, Skills unknown. A king tier boss no less. And a pure magic-based profession. Zhang Han squinted. As expected of the final Abyss tier trial, facing a boss of this level, even Little Gray, with 16,000 health, risked being one-shot. The next second, Little Gray charged at the Wanderer King. A red 900 floated above the king's head, but immediately after, a green number appeared, health restored by 1,000. As expected, it had recovery attributes. Zhang Han squinted. Little Gray used Dragon's Breath and keep attacking. He calmly ordered. A series of terrifying numbers appeared. The Wanderer King's health bar dropped a chunk. Even with its monstrous recovery, it couldn't keep up. The next second, the Abyss boss raised its hands. A blue magic glow gathered in its palms. Little Gray roared skyward. The Wanderer King fell into a stunned state. The blue glow in its hands dissipated. During the stun window, Little Gray unleashed a storm of attacks. In just 5 seconds, the Wanderer King took over 10,000 damage. As the stun ended, the Wanderer King raised its arms, robes fluttering. A mystical chant like Sanskrit echoed, resounding through the hall. Zhang Han waited 3 seconds, then ordered Little Gray interrupt. Under the terrifying effect of Dragon's Fang, even a king-tier boss was forced into a silent state. A magic-based boss unable to cast skills could only take hits passively. By the time the silence ended, the Wanderer King's health was down over half. With a magic-based boss like this, the Heavenly Dragon had an overwhelming advantage. In truth, the Wanderer King wasn't foolish. From the start, its target was Zhang Han, the one controlling Little Gray. But no matter how Little Gray moved, Zhang Han's position always aligned in a straight line with Little Gray and the Wanderer King. To attack Zhang Han, it couldn't avoid Little Gray. Zhang Han's positioning was flawless. Though he didn't reach the Supreme God's throne in his previous life, his skills were no less than any god-tier expert. The next second, the Wanderer King lost patience. A pitch-black light flashed from the horizon, turning into a furious lightning bolt striking down. Unfortunately, Little Gray was already in its path, taking the hit hidden. The terrifying damage blasted away nearly half of Little Gray's health. Little Gray roared in pain, charging straight at the Wanderer King. Seeing its chance, the Abyss boss ignored Little Gray's attacks, rushing toward Zhang Han. Kill this annoying man and it would all end. Looking at the boss with only 110 health, charging at him ferociously, Zhang Han smiled brightly. An ancient metal appeared in his hand. Brutal instant kill. A red lightning bolt struck the boss head. The king who ruled this place for countless years, a king-tier boss, turned to dust and vanished. Ding, you have defeated the final trial boss. Completed the Abyss tier level up trial. Your pet has reached level 10. As the first to successfully clear the Abyss trial, you receive a reward increased all attributes. Across the myriad realms, the system's clear announcement rang out. HU, a Kingdom player Yi Han, has cleared the Abyss Tier Level Up trial, received legendary title Abyss Envoy. The system's crisp voice spread to every corner of the apocalypse. At that moment, all players froze, eyes filled with disbelief at the shocking announcement. Many players who just joined didn't even know what the Level Up trial was. But from the announcement's content, they grasped some understanding. After all, the first global clear in any game was a legendary achievement passed down by word of mouth. In Newbie Village number 2743, a group of young men and women gathered, though dressed like other players. Their cold demeanor stood out. They were investigators from the Great Zia government. A global clear player emerged in our Great Zia, and on the leaderboard, it seems only this Yi Han exists. The busket man leading them had a glint in his eyes. Ziche, any info on this person? The busket man looked at the pretty girl beside him. Based on the Newbie Village number, Hayes likely from Zhong City. No other info for now. The busket man frowned. Well, level up for now. Keep tracking this Yi Han. Report any news immediately. In the trial dungeon, I stared blankly at the Wanderer King's corpse. It dropped nothing, only a shimmering crystal fragment on the ground. I reached out to pick it up. Abyss Time Shard quality unknown, cannot be identified. Aside from a brief line, there was no further info. Not even a basic item description. I thought for a moment, but couldn't recall any related information. I didn't dwell on it. A drop from a boss of this level was surely no ordinary item. It just couldn't be deciphered yet. After ensuring nothing was missed, I stepped into the teleportation array to leave the trial grounds. A white light flashed. A tall, slender figure appeared in the trial hall of Newbie Village 9527. The guards in charge of discussions, as NPCs couldn't hear the system announcement for players. They didn't know I had cleared the Abyss trial. Hello, if completed the Level Up trial. I need the token to enter the main city, I said with a smile. Wait, I need to verify. The guard gave me a cold glance. 10 minutes later, the guard approached respectfully. Honorable warrior, congratulations on passing the Abyss Tier trial. Here is your guide token and medal. The guard looked at me with complex emotions, eyes full of reverence. In the Empire's history, those who passed the Purgatorial trial could be counted on one hand. Most of them became influential figures, whose mere stomp could shake the Empire, let alone the person before him, who cleared the even harder Abyss trial. If he still acted superior now, had be truly ignorant. I looked at the medal in my hand quite surprised. I hadn't expected an unexpected gain. Medal of Valor, proof of a warrior epic quality. Only those who pass the Purgatorial trial are qualified to receive the highest honor of the Empire. Base attributes increased by 20. Charm increased by 3. Valiant Strength. Passive when health falls below 30. Strength increased by 10. Lasts 1 minute. After bidding farewell to the guard, I headed straight to the teleportation array for the main city. For players, the Newbie Village was too small. Only in the main city did the game truly begin. The blue light of the teleportation array flashed. My figure vanished. When I reappeared, a majestic city stood before me. Ding, you have arrived at the main city Fengyi. I looked up at the city walls. The gray-green walls blended into the horizon, exuding a heavy presence. Cold crows occasionally flew by, bringing a sense of desolation. And indeed it was so. Though the main city had resources far surpassing the Newbie Village by countless times, the dangers were equally multiplied. Here, demonic creatures would appear randomly, attacking all nearby beings indiscriminately.